Dude, I found this notebook in my closet that's disguised as Dexter the whole series, and I'd never noticed it before. Oh god. Dude, you gotta go. You gotta go. It says you're gonna... Oh no, it's too late. Hi everybody, my name's King Newsme. Most of you guys probably know of a little show called Goosebumps. It's only one of the most popular kids horror shows of all time based off of books with the same name. Well, what if I told you that the guy who wrote those books, R.L. Stine, wrote another short-lived series of books called The Nightmare Room. It's kind of like Goosebumps, but it's more intense, scarier, more horrifying. Just kidding, it's pretty much the same as Goosebumps. Yeah, not much different, actually. And it also got a TV show that aired on KidsWB. Just like the book series, the show was very short-lived with one season and only 13 episodes in total, which is actually one more episode than there are books. Kinda. One of the episodes is a two-parter, so that makes it 13 episodes, so really there's only 12 episodes. But it still counts. It has more of a Twilight Zone feeling rather than a Goosebumps feeling, with each episode being narrated by R.L. Stine.
I'm R.L. Stine.
I say in quotes because it's actually narrated by James Avery. You know, Uncle Phil. Or Shredder. Why are you guys so tilted? Why are you guys so tilted down? Let's tilt you guys up a little bit. Hey, how you doing? Today we're taking a look at one of my personal favorite episodes of the show, Dear Diary, I'm Dead. It's the 10th episode of the series and it was directed by Steve Dubin, and he also directed the 3rd episode, The Howler. Another great one. It was written by Paul Burbaum, who wrote half of the episodes for the show, and he also helped write all of the Halloween Town movies. Yes, even that one. Just like every episode in this series, this episode has some star power with a young Drake Bell, AJ Troth, and Brenda Song starring in it. Drake was already pretty well known because of his work on the popular Nickelodeon skit show, The Amanda Show. And AJ was Alan Twitty in Even Stevens, which was still going really strong when this episode aired. But Brenda Song wasn't really known yet. She had a few small roles in a bunch of TV shows and commercials, but it would still be a few years until she became famous with London Tipton in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And now, ironically, I think she's the most famous out of all of them. She's married to Macaulay Culkin, which has to be awesome. It's also kind of awesome how they got both Nick stars and Disney stars in this episode. It's like uniting a universe together. But I know why you're really here, so let's quit yapping and get into the episode. The episode starts by introducing us to our main character, Alex Sanders, and his best friends slash band members, Sean and Tessa. Alex believes that his mom is going to buy him a $400 guitar for his birthday that's coming up soon. He thinks this because his mom has been trying to be really sneaky around him lately, and she's been hiding something from him.
Got a surprise for you.
And it looks like he's gonna get it right now. And when he gets upstairs, he finds a desk? Apparently, Alex complained about not having anywhere to put his things, so as a gift, his mom bought him an antique desk, which is a very kind gesture, but Alex was really wanting a Fletcher Super Toe. Whoa. What just happened to me? Not long after Alex gets his new desk, his friends leave and he explores his new desk by himself, where he finds a key that opens a secret drawer to a very dusty diary. Ew, bro, who knows how long that thing's been in there? What if there was like a deathly virus hiding in the dust you just blew all over your room? Dear Diary, I'm Dead, yeah. From the T-virus. Obviously, Alex opens the diary to read it and oh great, there's cockroaches. And dude is oddly calm to have 4 giant cockroaches just inches from his face. I'm not even scared of cockroaches or bugs, but I would definitely jump back and at least try to trap them so they don't run loose in my room. I think Alex has the survival instincts of a potato. Maybe a rock. The next diary entry starts on September 12th. Ooh, that's really close. Which is actually the next day for Alex. It reads, Dear Diary, I lucked out in PE today. I had to run 10 laps around the gym, but there was a fire drill and I got out of it. Wow. Riveting stuff. Alex isn't very impressed either and just puts the diary back in the drawer and leaves. But after he's gone, a mysterious force slams the drawer shut. The next day in gym class, Alex pants a show-off who's doing pull-ups with 1 finger. Wait, hold on, that's actually super impressive. Of course, this gets Alex in trouble, and as punishment, he has to run 10 laps around the gym, which is exactly what the person who owned the diary before had to do. And before he can even start running those laps, the fire alarm goes off, which saves him from his punishment. This immediately gets Alex's spidey senses tingling, and he knows something is up with the diary. Get it? Because Drake Bell voiced Spider-Man in The Ultimate Spider-Man? Was that too niche? Is that a little too niche for you guys? And later that day at home, the drawer with the diary mysteriously opens on its own. Of course, this gets Alex's attention, and he opens up the diary to a new entry for the next day that reads, I flunked my history quiz with a 57. And lo and behold, the next day, the kids are hit with a pop quiz in history that, you guessed it, Alex failed with a 57. Alex has had his suspicions about the book earlier, but now that it's predicted the future twice, he fully believes that the diary tells him the future. Is there anything in there that warns you about a man named Dan Schneider? You gotta look around a little bit. And the next time he opens the diary, there's a new terrifying entry that reads, he's gonna make a half-court shot in PE. Okay, I don't see how this moves the story along, besides maybe giving him some street cred. And the next day in PE, he hits a half-court shot. But as he was gearing up to do so, all the guys in the bleachers started to be rowdy and started stomping, which causes some of the bolts under the bleachers to come loose. And after he hits the shot, he checks out the diary again to find that something was added to the entry. After he makes the shot, his best friend Sean is going to break his ankle. In a panic, Alex tells Sean to stay right there and don't move, and he tries to run up the bleachers to help Sean get down. But his running up the bleachers only made the screws more loose, and suddenly... God dang, a crash that big and he only broke his ankle? I call that a miracle, man. Later, Alex feels horrible that he wasn't able to help his friend Sean in time, and he blames himself for reading the diary so much. But if it's in the future, isn't it going to happen anyways? It's kind of like death in the Final Destination movies. You can't really escape the future. It will get what it wants. The next day, Alex wakes up and immediately reads what's going to happen today. This time, it's not a lot, but it is very worrisome.
Major disaster in shop today.
And later in shop class, Alex is on edge. He's not sure if the disaster is going to happen to him or not, but what he does know is that he has to try and get out of the class as soon as possible. And as his teacher, Mr. Murphy, starts cutting the pieces that the kids are going to need for their projects, Alex tries to make a sly escape, but accidentally knocks a long board into Mr. Murphy, which gets his apron caught in the spinning blade. Everyone begins to panic as Mr. Murphy slowly is being sucked in closer to the saw blade. Multiple guys try to hold him back, but the machine is just too powerful and there's no stopping him. Thankfully, Alex is able to hit the kill power switch before the saw can cut Mr. Murphy in half. Shoot, maybe this is a Final Destination movie. Nah, if it was a Final Destination movie, then the saw blade would have definitely killed him and then probably fallen over and killed 2 other kids. You know how those movies are. Later that night, Alex is practicing with the band. Wait a minute. Didn't he break his ankle? How is he playing the drums with a broken ankle? That's kind of like a both feet endeavor you have to do there. Anyways, Alex has way too much going on in his head to focus, and he tells the others about the diary he found that can tell the future. But when they ask questions and want to learn more about the diary, he just brushes it off and tells them to forget about it. And he decides to take a little break, so he walks over to his bag to get some water and clear his head. But then he gets this urge to open the diary again, because that's obviously gonna help.
The rehearsal went really well, but the walk home, I'm lucky I'm even around to talk about it.
Great, now you're gonna die. Really smart way to clear your head, dingus. To avoid whatever's going to happen to him, Alex asks if Tessa's mom can drive him home. But Tessa's just confused why he's asking because he lives right up the street. It's less than a 5-minute walk. Then she starts picking on him because she thinks that he's just scared of some boogeyman monster hiding in the dark. And Alex has too big of an ego and doesn't like this slander to his name and decides to just go home alone. But before he leaves, he has to unplug his amp so the place doesn't catch on fire. And it's a miracle that it hasn't yet because the plug that the amp is plugged into shocks Alex so bad that it makes the power to the house flicker, where they all agree that they need to fix the power situation before someone gets seriously hurt. But even though he was shocked pretty bad, Alex figures that maybe the intense shock was the bad thing that was going to happen to him before he got home tonight. So it kind of soothes his head a little bit, but still, on his way home, Alex is super paranoid, jumping at every tiny noise, constantly looking around his shoulder, until a car alarm distracts him and a small pickup truck starts barreling towards him. And the next shot, he's dead? Holy crap, they actually killed him! And since it's Alex's funeral, everyone is so sad. Except for Tessa, who doesn't like his coffin.
My coffin's gonna be way nicer than this.
A sentence that's so mean that Alex comes back from the dead to argue with her about it. Wait, what the hell? Obviously that was just a dream, but he did actually get hit by the truck. Luckily, it did swerve out of the way enough to not injure him too badly, but he does have to stay in bed for just 1 day because he's very sore. And like the awesome friends that they are, Tessa and Sean come over to see if Alex is okay. And after talking to his mom about the accident, Tessa finds it weird that Alex knew something bad was going to happen to him the night before. And she tells this to Sean, but Sean just thinks that it must have been some kind of coincidence, because there's really no way he knew what was going to happen. But Sean's explanation just isn't enough to satisfy Tessa. So Sean heads home and Tessa sneaks into Alex's room to check on him. She's going snooping. Later that night, Alex wakes up to find the diary is missing. And the next day at school, he asks Tessa if she took the diary, which she denies at first, but almost instantly folds under zero pressure. Alex tells Tessa that she needs to give the diary back. It might seem cool to know the future, but it comes with some big burdens. But Tessa isn't worried about the burdens at all. Actually, she's been handling the diary pretty well, and she's even excited to take on the day now that she's extra prepared. But the diary is almost like a drug to Alex. It's like he can't stay away from it for too long, so it doesn't take long for Alex to sneak into Tessa's locker and steal the diary back to throw it away. But before he does so, he just has to read it one last time.
Dear diary, I'm dead.
Reading this shakes Alex to his core. Since Tessa was the last one to have it, Alex thinks that Tessa is going to die. And this sends him on a mission to find a way to save his friend's life. Later that night, before they practice, Tessa is plugging everything in, and just before she can get the last plug in the outlet,
Tessa, stop!
Alex runs into the basement and tells her to stop. He tells her that he stole the diary back from her locker and it says that she was going to die.
Whoa, you wrote that in your diary?
Honestly, a valid reaction for someone who has no idea what's going on. Check on your friends. Tessa tells Alex that the diary didn't say that when she had it, but Alex knows what he read and he wants to make sure that she is super careful to avoid her own death.
Are you two like in some sort of parallel universe?
Honestly, Sean, they might be. This diary stuff is really weird. Then Tessa tells Alex that her entry just warned her about the big storm, but that's literally it. But hearing that someone's gonna die has Tessa on edge, and she takes a look around to find Alex is holding the shoddy outlet that shocked him earlier, and he's standing in a pool of water. Suddenly, it all makes sense to Tessa. The diary entries change based on who's holding the diary, so that last entry was meant for Alex. Then Alex is electrocuted to death as the screen turns white and dims down to the beginning of the episode, just moments before he found the diary for the first time. Then R.L. Stine chimes in and tells us that the diary isn't telling the future at all. It knows what's going to happen because Alex is stuck in a time loop, living the same few days over and over again.
As a permanent resident of the Nightmare Room.
Okay, so I know that ending is a little confusing, and I'm honestly still not really sure what's going on. R.L. Stine says that Alex is stuck in a time warp, but the diary does seem to have some paranormal powers to it because it changed when Tessa had it, and then it changed back when Alex stole it back. So they might actually be stuck in a time loop, but there is some weird stuff going on with that diary. And there's a few theories I thought up while writing this script. So maybe Alex himself wrote all these entries during one of the time loops as a warning to himself, but then it would be really dumb that he can't figure out his own warnings to fix the time loop? Or is the diary the reason he's stuck in the time loop? Maybe if one of these times he can resist the urge to read what will happen to him, it'll solve everything. So I guess in that case, the diary doesn't tell him the future, the diary causes the future. And if he refuses to read the diary, nothing bad will happen to him. Or there's no solving it. He can't get out of the time loop. He's just stuck in it, unknowingly, forever. Which is really haunting. Probably why I like this episode so much. I don't know, let me know which one you think it is in the comments below, or give me your own theory. So, I really like this episode a lot. It's a very simple episode, it doesn't try too hard to be scary, and it doesn't rely on like a spooky clown or a doll to get its scares across. Instead, it's slower. It lets the horror build up throughout the episode. Something you don't see a lot in kids' horror, especially in the early 2000s. And like I said earlier, it's like Final Destination in a way. In those movies, death is always chasing them and it will get what it wants. This episode, Alex is battling the future. All the diary does is tell him what's going to happen. And no matter what he tries to do to change it, he can't. And that's what makes this episode so scary. Unlike an episode with a monster, you can't fight back. You have to just submit to this force that you can't control. Sure, it can be nice, like it gives Alex some street cred with a half-court shot, but when it decides to be mean and says, "Dear diary, I'm dead," well, see ya. What are you gonna do? And I think Alex is the perfect victim for this time loop. Alex starts off as kind of an arrogant guy. He talks about how popular and cool he is at the beginning of the episode. And the diary knows how to play with him. It makes his head even bigger and then humbles the crap out of him. It's like right when he realized that he couldn't help Sean, he began to take the diary more seriously, even to the point where he didn't want to read it, but felt compelled to. And I'm sure this wasn't like meant for the kids episode, but there is like addiction, like subtext there, right? You guys feel that way too, right? I also like the dynamic of everyone in this episode. Alex and his friends feel like an actual group of friends. They pick on each other and they mess around a lot, but they're also there for each other and know what's best for each other. Alex and Tessa are very similar and they actually butt heads throughout the episode because of it. But I think that was intended because she knew the only way to save Alex from reading the diary was to hide it from him and not give it back. She knew that he couldn't resist the urge to read it, and funny enough, she couldn't either. And Sean is the dopey friend everyone has, and he was very needed in this episode. Dude was cracking me up the whole time. I do have a couple of complaints about the episode though. The most notable one is this episode is extremely rushed. There are some scenes in the episode that are like less than a minute long, just to show you that the book is spooky. And if your scene is less than a minute long, maybe just cut it from the episode. The scene I'm really thinking about is the pop quiz scene. We didn't have to see Alex go to school and then come home for us to understand that he had a pop quiz and didn't do too well. The audience already believed that the book tells the future, so when he reads that the next day he's going to fail a test, you can just cut to the next day where he failed the test. Also, the scene where Alex is about to get hit by the truck, it just seemed like the sound designer threw as many spooky sounds into the scene as possible. It's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad scene. I think it would have been a lot spookier if it was like deathly quiet and you maybe hear like a twig snap or something, but it just sounded like a Johnny Test episode. Just imagine this, just like... That's pretty much the scene. That's pretty much what happened. And there are also some pretty goofy, over-the-top scenes in the episode that pull me out of the episode. But I also like those scenes because they're silly. It's like a double-edged sword for me. Like if Sean didn't comedically fall into a table of Gatorade, I probably would get a little bored of this episode. But because he did, I started laughing out loud and it kind of locked me into the episode. Also, how am I not supposed to find this funny? Come on! But they're all pretty small issues that don't really ruin the episode completely. This one is definitely one of my favorite episodes. I highly recommend you check it out. The whole series is free on Tubi, so you have no excuse to not watch it. And I'm also sure you can find the episode here on YouTube somewhere. Every time I say a different streaming service, I get like 10 comments at least. They're like, the whole series is here on YouTube, by the way. You don't even have to leave the website, by the way. Okay, great! Shut up. But that's all I have for you today. I have a Patreon. The $5 members get bonus content plus videos a day early, maybe some pictures of my cats, a Discord server, and your name right here on screen. Like the video if you like the video. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you all, and peace.